I've had the privilege to live, two dreams per se. I was a second round pick in NFL, and then I also was WWE. So
you obviously have a fantastic genetics, right? The reality of it is because of that, people look down on you. And probably were like, that guy's on steroids, there's no way he's not, blah, blah, blah.
I've probably been tested for steroids, no exaggeration, over 100 times between college, NFL, and WWE.
When I started this business, it was a lot of sacrifice. 16-hour days, 6 days a week.
There is no success without sacrifice. I literally, everything I did from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, if it did not make me a better athlete or a better football player, I didn't do it.
What's going on, everyone? Sid Gordon here with the Sid Gordon Podcast, and I have my boy Sabby Piscitelli in the house, my brand new studio, my second podcast here. And
you did a great job with this place.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I went to see Sean Ryan, and I was like, dude, I got to step my game up because I ain't never going to be who Sean Ryan is on this stuff, but he's got quite the studio. So, guys, Sabby, second round pick with the NFL, played for Tampa Bay Bucks for 6 years, WWE for 5 years, national speaker, personal growth coach, most important, family man. And, what I really love about Sabby is every time I talk to him, he contributes so much stuff to his mom and dad.
Absolutely.
Which is huge. So thanks for coming on.
Man, it's an absolute privilege, man. We've done a few of these before. I've known you for almost 15 years. So I love to jump on a podcast with you and talk shop.
Well, the exciting part is he's coming aboard with the family.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. I'm excited. I mean, you guys have been taking care of me for 15 years. Might as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the reality of it is that you got a lot going on and you're kind of settled in that sweet spot right now. So you kind of know what your passions are now. So like, that's really important. It's like, there's a lot of people that just want to make quick money and do this, that, and the other. But like to be passionate about something is more important than the financial.
Absolutely.
portion.
I've had the privilege to live, two dreams per se. I was a second round pick in NFL, and then I also was WWE. So I've had the passion to do the things I wanted to do and really love to do. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm happily married. I want to start a family with my beautiful wife, and I want to give back. I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my whole passion, my whole life has been, sports and being in the best shape I could be. And at this point in my life, I just want to create something around me that is just more of my passion, that I want to help individuals, help men, help women become the best version of themselves, just like you've been doing for the last 15, 20 years. I just want to do it more of a mental approach to some stuff.
Yeah. What's interesting is that, we talked the other day about all the speaking stuff that you're doing, all the stuff you do on social media that's like really inspiring, dude. I was like, every day when you were doing that sauna talk, dude, I watched it every single day. And the thing is too, is like, you got guys out there, right? Guys and girls, they see a dude like you who's an absolute specimen, which we're going to get into in a second. And they, and they're like, oh, what's that guy have to say? But the thing is that like, I have like 5 or 6 people that I, if I don't see them on my feed, I'll look them up every day because I know they're spitting some amazing game. And like, that's growth. Looking through and looking at half naked girls or whatever the hell it is, that's not growth, right?
Absolutely.
But so there's a lot you can get from social media, a lot.
Absolutely. I think social media has changed the world, in a positive way, some negative, but there's definitely a lot of positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you can get your message out there. You could help individuals. You could inspire individuals. And I think, like you just said, you follow somebody that motivates you. Follow somebody that intrigues you to be a better version of yourself. And I think the sauna talk is just me putting a camera in the sauna after, my workout. I'm sitting in the sauna and I'm just kind of spitting what's on my mind, what I've been through, my failures, my success, what I've learned from people that I've had the privilege to be around, and I think for me, it's just something that I love to do with a passion of it, Yeah,
I mean, the funny part is too, is people ask me, well, how do you pick those people online that you follow? Well, most of them I know. But what I'll do is I'll come across something and you can find out real quick if the person that you're paying attention to on social media is the real deal or not. And I'll tell you how. You look at their followers. Look at what types of people are following them. Are they like guys that are like well put together? They have families on their page. They're not driving around in like Lamborghinis and living in a $1,000 a month apartment. You know what I mean? West Austin. But anyways, but yeah, dude, you've done great, man. I gotta let the cat right out of the bag, dude. So like, I know for a fact that you've been dealing with a stigma of using anabolic steroids probably since you were 5 years old. No, no, but probably since you were in high school.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And the thing is like, obviously, I don't care if you're genetically gifted, you eat perfect, you train right, the whole 9 yards. The whole puzzle needs to come together. And you obviously have a fantastic genetics, right? Fantastic. And we can't say that you don't, because there's no, I mean, you do. And the reality of it is because of that, people look down on you and probably were like, that guy's on steroids. There's no way he's not, blah, blah, blah. And in high school, they weren't really tested, were they?
No, not in high school, but
no. But did coaches ask you? Like, I got to know like when it started, what it was like, and how you felt.
You know, everything you just said, you're absolutely correct. I remember the first time I got the stigmatism was my going into my senior year. It was from the jump from my junior year to senior year. I was a late bloomer. And I was always, I loved to be in the gym early. My dad used to make me do push-ups and sit-ups at 5 years old. Literally. I do push-ups, and I was in like, I had a little gym with like the little weights when I was a kid. But when
You put the water inside of it?
Oh yeah, the water inside.
I had the same weights, dude.
Had the water.
It's the best.
You know, and my dad got me in that mindset of just training at a very young age. But I hit puberty like late. I grew late. So what happened was my summer from junior year to senior year, I gained like 25 pounds. I grew a little bit. I was in Gold's Gym every day. And I put on a little muscle going to my senior year, and all of a sudden I started hearing a stigmatism that I was on steroids. I was naive. I didn't even know what steroids was at this time. And I kind of just let it deflect, and I almost took it as a compliment and let it go. And then it got worse. I got to college, same kind of boat. You know, I was blessed with speed. I could fly.
So wait, going back to high school, you were playing with Alan then?
Yes.
Okay.
Alan.
Were you guys the same size?
So here's the funny thing about Alan. We grew up literally 50 yards away from each other. Our houses we grew up was across the street.
Oh, really?
Me and Alan grew up.
Oh, you guys are best.
Yeah, we grew up in a playpen together.
Okay.
Like literally, our house was 30 yards apart. And Alan was the total opposite of me. Alan was a very early bloomer. So Alan had like the armpit hair, he had like the facial hair, and I didn't have anything yet. Like seriously, Alan was like shooting up, and he was developing, and I was staying small. So he kind of surpassed me athletically and size wise, and I was getting discouraged. I was a late bloomer. So Alan was actually like really dominant in sports because he grew so early, like in like freshman year in high school. He threw really hard, and he was a guy who developed early. I was a guy who developed later. So the thing that it was more the combination of me developing later and being in the gym at the same time. So I kind of hit like a double whammy, and I just all of a sudden steroid. And honestly, it got worse and worse and worse when I got to college, to the pros, to WWE. And I'd probably been tested for steroids, no exaggeration, over 100 times between college, NFL, and WWE. And the funny thing was
100 times?
Over 100 times, because you think in NFL, it's random every week, right? College, here was the funny thing in college. They said college was a select every year. I got tested all 3 years I started in college. Why is that? Why is that?
Well, I
was the only person I got tested all 3 years.
Probably the opposing teams going, look at that guy. You know what I mean? So, which is great. And not to mention, we haven't told the audience that you didn't even start playing football until you were junior high school.
17 years old. So now, again, I was gifted with speed. I was the size I was, and there was this little kid. This kid's on steroids. So it's funny. I get to college. Steroid allegation goes huge. And I'll tell you a quick story. Actually, I go to the NFL Combine. I'm ranked top 5 in the country in my position. I go to the Combine. Every interview asks me if I was on steroids. Right?
Every interview?
Every interview.
That's got to be 20 interviews.
20 every asked me if I was on steroids. Then they test me, right? Obviously, clean. I found out 5 years later when after my Tampa Bay days, I went to Kansas City for a couple of years, and one of the coaches told me, this was like a private conversation. He goes, during the draft in 2007, I was with Atlanta Falcons. We loved you, but everybody in the room was convinced you were on steroids. This is him telling me in 2012, 7 years later, and he said in 2007 we all thought you were on steroids. They said no, he's a white kid who could run a 4.3. He looks the way he looks, and there's no way he's all natural. But I'm like, I asked him, I said, you guys tested me.
Well, and they're freaking investigative like geniuses.
1,000%.
They probably saw you your sophomore, your junior year,
Exactly.
and then saw your senior. They're like, what the hell?
Even in college, I grew an inch and a half in college.
Oh, you were a late bloomer.
I'm six, not even 6'1" going into college. I'm 6'3", 240 now. Like it was that.
Were you taking supplements?
Honestly, Sid, protein shakes. That's it. I couldn't even take creatine because I used to cramp up. Like my lower back would cramp up. So but I was a guy who was very determined to gain weight through muscle. When I was in college, I actually would set an alarm to like 2 a.m, and I would have a protein shake on the side of my bed, and I would wake up and I would chug the protein shake, right, and go back to sleep because I wanted to gain weight. I wanted to get bigger, right, and I became one of the biggest safeties in college and in the NFL. But it was I never took a lot of supplements. ever. Nothing.
Well, the crazy part is that like what people don't understand about supplements. Number one, the reason why GNC is a $1 billion company is because you can walk in and self-diagnose yourself. Be like, hey, buddy, this is what's going on. And then you have this kid behind the counter that was working at, Jimmy John's 2 weeks before. It's just being like, you need creatine, you need this test boost, you need this, that, and the other. But the other side of it too, man, is the creatine's a big thing now, especially with kids, but they don't understand how bad that shit is for them.
Yeah.
High creatinine levels are bad. I mean, it's not good. And I mean, a lot of that stuff, I mean, if you diet and you sleep and you exercise, I mean, at that age, it's going to happen if it's supposed to.
100%. And work hard. I tell these kids too, you don't need something at that age, man. Like a young kid's like maybe some protein after you work out.
Yeah.
Right. But at that age, just get in that gym, let your body take over, work hard, sleep, rest, recover.
Exactly.
And the rest will take care of itself.
I think sleep too is really underestimated at that age too, because everyone wants to be out going around, running around. Like that 8 hours is freaking, it is huge. So when you were in high school and you transitioned to Oregon to play ball, what was it? I want to know what it was like being on that team as a freshman, right? And how the other athletes, the sophomores, juniors, and seniors, like treat someone that's coming in, because they obviously knew you only had, 24 months of football curriculum, which is the curriculum. And if anyone's seen a playbook lately, even a high school playbook,
Yep.
that's a second job. And then college is a second and third job. And the NFL, it's a full-time job, right? And that's some of the hardest part of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
When you first get to college, and the older guys, they almost make you earn your stripes, right? They got to see if this kid can really play. And then when they saw me coming from Florida all the way to Oregon State, it was kind of like a rivalry when I played with like Cali and Florida, who was the best football player. So when I had to go all the way to the, all the way to the West Coast, they were like, who's this Florida boy? Why is he here? There's a lot of colleges down in Florida.
How come you picked that school?
I said it was my only big offer. It was at the time it was my only big offer, but he's only played 2 years. And I tell my story. I actually had a public speaking event a couple weeks ago, and I told my story. I started at 17. I was a nobody. And the stat's not exactly, but if you look it up, I would say 90 to 95% of the guys who make it to the NFL start before the age of 7. So now I'm 10 years behind, right? They told me I had no chance.
And they're from Pahokee.
So Florida's a big,
of
course
course.
factory. But, I was 10 years late.
How many people from Boca Raton have ever made it to the NFL?
Well, Boca High, my high school, has been around for, 60, 70 years. My mom went to Boca High. I'm the highest drafted player to ever come out of my high school. So when you think about that, it's kind of crazy when you think about how many players.
70 years. It's been around for 70 years. How many players?
Boca High. I mean, think about it. It's it's funny though. Boca High's,
it can't be too many.
It can't be. No, I know I'm the highest drafted player to come out. It's only had 1 second round pick. But if you go in 30 minutes south.
Yeah.
Or 30 minutes north, you have tons of first, second round picks. You got Miami, you got Homestead, you got Pahokee, you go up north to Delray. So there is a lot of tremendous football players in South Florida. It's tremendous athletes. But why I went to Oregon State was that was my only big offer at the time. That's it. And I had to take advantage of it. And I had to, take the opportunity, and thank God I did. It changed my life forever.
I mean, it's a beautiful place.
It was a great place to be focused. Right? No distractions.
Oh, yeah.
And, I never went out. I never drank. I never partied. I was so focused on football. I was so focused on becoming the best athlete, the best football player I could become. And it was changed my life forever, man. Forever grateful.
Yeah. So what was it like for you to be, you started your freshman year?
No, sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So it's your sophomore year. You start to have a freaking amazing season that year, right? Like about halfway through it, like turned on, right?
No. From day. So my first game ever as a starter ever.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading stats before. Your freshman year, you didn't have too much field time. Your sophomore year, got it. Yep.
Sophomore year took off. Actually, I was blessed. My first pass play ever as a starting safety in the NFL or at college, I picked off in LSU, intercepted. Yeah. And I actually had 4 interceptions the first 4 games I started as a sophomore. So I was very blessed. Now I look back, I was very blessed to have a college career that kind of went like this.
Yeah.
And I was on, I was in the right place at the right time. I was on good teams, great coaches, great players around me. And I got the opportunity to really excel.
So You know, this is going out to the youngsters out there, especially. What was your mindset, and what was going through your mind when everyone else, I'm going to tell you right now, probably everyone else, maybe one person or two people were going out and partying after every game and getting after it and having fun all week. And you were just like, nope, not doing that.
Is another thing I preach. There is no success without sacrifice. And
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in that. And I had that vision early, and I knew I couldn't afford to be out partying with these guys because I was 10 years behind already. And to be honest with you, I was willing to give up everything just to get an opportunity to live my dream. My dream was to play in the NFL. And for me as a man, I literally, everything I did from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, if it did not make me a better athlete or a better football player, I didn't do it. I did not do it. And I didn't drink soda. And I know it sounds weird, but like everything I did was predicated on being the best athlete and the best football player I could be. So for me, I was just really laser focused. And I understood the concept back then
Mm-hmm.
that you have to give stuff up in this life. There is no success without sacrifice. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't care what aspect of life, career wise, your body, your relationships, whatever you want to improve in your life, figure out what you got to sacrifice. And I knew at that time in college, I had to sacrifice going out, partying, drinking, drugs, girls, everything, because I needed to get that advantage somehow because I was so far behind.
Well, I mean, and that doesn't go away either, right? So like even like that's great you learned that so young. Most people learn it when they're in their 30s, like that they have to start to sacrifice things because they're having kids, they're getting married, other people depend on them, they can't go spend money like they used to, whatever that might be. But the thing is, to learn that young is huge. Most people are like, oh, I'll figure it out next year. You know
You
what
know,
I
it's
mean?
Sid, you funny. When I talk to my mom, I'm so grateful for my parents every day. And when I talk to my mom, I said, yeah, and you said in the beginning of the show, yes, God did bless me with tremendous athleticism that I am humbly grateful for. But what I did with it is what the gift was. And I felt like I understood at a very, very young age. I had the vision of what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go. And I think that was the game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
I realized very young. And I look back now and I'm like, how did I think like that at 13 or 14 or 15? But I did. And I think that was another gift that God gave me, was the ability to have the vision of not only what I wanted to do, but what I had to do to get there. And like you said, if you meet like a 15-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid, most of them are just like, hey, living day by day. I'll work hard, but I'll just do whatever out the field. For some reason, God gave me a different vision. I just knew that I had to give up a lot of stuff to go where I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go. And that was just kind of early. I kind of early on came, and I hold that right now in my life. I'm a firm believer in that. Is that you have to be able to give something up to get what you want. And I heard a saying, said I actually would say it right now. If you don't sacrifice today what you want tomorrow, what you want is going to be your sacrifice. Think about that for a second.
That's strong.
That's strong, right?
That's real
Think
strong.
about that. And I think people we lose sight of that. And I think when I heard that saying, I kind of go, he's right. Like if we're not willing to sacrifice today what we want tomorrow, what we want is going to be our sacrifice.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It makes, I mean, that's a beautiful thing right there. But the thing is people will hear that, it'll resonate and they still won't do it. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
We hold the power, Sid. We hold the power.
You know, while we're on that talk about sacrifice, like, you know, we just had a great lunch together, you know, and I always enjoy my conversation with you because you're just trying to like, just be 1% better, like each minute, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we were talking in, you know, my when I started this business, it was a lot of sacrifice, dude. I mean, I was like 16-hour days, 6 days a week. You know, the people that suffered the most were my daughter, my son, my ex-wife, and the importance of, I learned so much from that whole situation because the importance of having that strong family unit. I learned the hard way, right? Because like I was grinding, she felt neglected, you know what I mean? And it was temporary, but it happens. And before we get, you know, too much more deep, I think one of the messages that you provide like really, really well is how important it is to find the right significant other to support you. Like you had your parents, you had your dad pushing you really hard. I mean, from the stories I've heard, he was like, he was freaking rough,
Old time,
but also gave you love when you needed it.
absolutely,
right? And which is a beautiful thing. Like, you know, you should be able to sit here and be a savage and harness that, but also sit here and be loving and harness that. No one should know what you're capable of, right? Absolutely. And that's a good dad.
Absolutely.
So like, with that being said, you know, as you got older, you knew how important it was to have a tight family unit, and you found an amazing, partner, and she's great. I've met her; she's fantastic. She's gorgeous, and she's also the coolest chick. Jax, you're right up there too, man. But going through the WWE and then now where you are, and having other women in your life, like what do you see and what would you tell the audience is so important when you're going through like that process of really wanting to settle down?
I don't think there's a more important decision you'll make in your life ever is in who you marry, on who you form that bond with, because you just said everything so spot on. That significant other has to make you better in every aspect of life. Not only be, I always say there's no king without a queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I am so grateful for my wife every day. She's my best friend. She's my love of my life. And she's motivated like me. She's passionate like me. We have the same interests. And I really do think it's such an important aspect to your life, because without that queen, without that support system, a man can't be his best potential without that, in my opinion. So, and I think the reality is also it's something you can't find on the street corner, right? You can't pretend to be in love. So for me, I tell young people to make sure it's a true, strong feeling. Make sure you're in love, because don't worry about what society says. Oh, I got to be married by a certain age, or I got to have a kid by a certain age. That's a crock of shit. Right? We all know that. Love can come in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or even 60s. My wife's mother is 68, and her dating stories is we laugh at it because she talks, she's still in her 20s and 30s, and we love it. We joke around because she's single, and she's now she has a boyfriend who's like 10 years younger than her. But the point I'm saying is, you never know when you're gonna find it. Don't settle, right? And for me, it's one of them things is I think it's a very important factor in your life for as an overall man to be the best version of yourself.
Well, I talk about the ripple effect of situations all the time, right? And like you said, if you're going to settle for one of the most important decisions you're ever going to make, you're going to settle for everything else.
That's strong, Sid. I like that.
Right?
You're right.
So like, great example. I talk about this a lot, but I went to my high school reunion. Mm-hmm. And like, I think I told you the other day, like I walked in the door and I was like, what the fuck happened here, dude? Like all these studs are, and it's that rinse and repeat lifestyle, small town outside of Boston, it was blue collar back in the day when I was there. Now it's very, very expensive. Like the rest of the whole country is. And like, I'm like, damn, I'm so happy I didn't settle to stay here. I had to leave here and I had to get uncomfortable. And I talked to my kids about it. My daughter's 19 now, Jada. Crazy. I know. You met her when she was 5. I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Gosh.
I know. I had her at the gym with me when I used to see it. It's crazy. Wow. And I was talking to her. I was like, hey, you're kind of comfortable, huh? It was a baited conversation. We had it last night. And I said, you're kind of comfortable now. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you're living at home with your mom. You're saving money. You're working hard. You're making a lot of money. There's no growth in comfort. I said, I want you to get uncomfortable. I want you to find an apartment. I want you to I want you to struggle. I need you to struggle.
Love that.
And she was just like, holy shit, like that, which is true. Like if you're comfortable all the time, you have no tolerance for risk.
None. Sid,
and we talked about that at lunch.
Dude, that is so strong. And I love that you said that, because I actually say it all the time. You have to get out of your comfort zone at one point in your life. And so many people are scared to leave their small hometowns or where they grew up and explore the world. I don't care if you go for 2 or 3 years and fail and come back home. That's fine. But you have to go out there and experience yourself. And you just said, you're never going to truly understand success until you struggle and fail and be uncomfortable. And that's what's wrong with our society today. People want handouts too much. People got their handouts.
The entitlement's disgusting.
The entitlement's disgusting. Nobody owes you nothing. Right? And I talk about it all the time. Nobody owes you shit. Like, so people that are believing that somebody owes you something, change that mentality, right? Get out and get it yourself. And like you just said, not being comfortable and being complacent will be 2 killers in your life for any aspect of your life.
Well, yeah, the other side too is like, I'm sure you have plenty of people in your life that are going to say, well, I can't believe I did this for this kid and then I needed something and he didn't help me. Right? And just going back to no one owes you anything, because no one does you anything. If you're doing things for somebody else,
Don't respect it.
don't respect it to come back, right? Because
Absolutely.
99% of the time it's not coming back. Every time I loan money, I'm like, bro, don't even pay me back, because I'm gonna hold the resentment and put myself in prison, dude.
You got how your mindset. Like, hey, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Exactly. It's gonna be on my freaking tax returns, though. You know what I mean? Can you sign this form?
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude, it's wild. But the thing is, too, is we were talking about this, and like, for me, like this freaking, these two parents are I take my kid. I'm a big fan of having my kids outside. I don't let them. I'll let them hang out inside, do whatever. But like, I want to be outside. Once an hour goes by and we're hanging out, whatever, I'm like, guys, let's get outside. Let's go to the park. Let's go to the beach. Let's go do something, right? So we're at the park the other day, and this couple comes up to me like, your daughter, it's not that she's intimidated, but she's so confident. And I looked over, I'm like, well, America's not making men anymore. So I decided to make a woman, you know what I mean? And we said that at lunch. But the thing is that like, a lot of times you get these kids that are introverts, right, at such a young age. And the reason for that is two things. Number one, they're either bullied in school, which is a big topic for me that I freaking hate, because you can turn a kid into an introvert real quick by getting bullied if it's not addressed. Yep. And you don't teach them confidence. Yep. Easy fix, put them in jujitsu. That's fixed immediately, right? Or playing football or doing something aggressive, right? Number two, the parents don't give a fuck. And that's the reality. I mean, when I started to have kids, I was a sponge. Anyone who had a kid, I was like, dude, I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you, because for me, I didn't want to screw that up.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I grew up that were pretty bad, but I'm happy that they happened, because they really grew me. But the other side of it too is the bad things that happened don't need to continue on for my kids to be to have the same success as me. I can just parent better.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the childhood trauma stuff is a big thing. Parents don't even realize that they're freaking doing it. And it's crazy.
That's why I think it's a responsibility that people do not take in strong considerations. When you have a child, make sure you're ready to have a child. Make sure you're ready to be a great dad or a great mother, because the neglect of these young kids is hurting them. And I totally agree with you on that aspect, for sure, 100%. So
yeah, the whole timing thing. You need to graduate high school, go to college, find a job, go work for somebody, get married, have a baby, live off your 401k. It's like, dude, are you kidding me right now? But that was what our parents thought. That's what they thought was right. You know, if you don't go to college, you're going to be on Jerry Springer. You know what I mean? That's what was told to me. I was the most likely to be on Jerry Springer. That's what they fucking told me.
Look at you now.
Yeah, look at me now, motherfucker. Yeah. So transitioning college to NFL. I want to know what that was like, walking in that locker room, or that playroom for the first time. It is especially after the massive acceleration you had at Oregon State, and you know, getting picked up in the second round, and you know, the majority of the people playing on a team aren't picked up on the second round. You know what I mean? It's
you're a high pick. It's a high. There's
pick.
A lot of pressure, man. It was a listen. First of all, it was a tremendous blessing and honor to be drafted in the second round. The older I get, Sid, to be honest with you, and I mean this humbly. The older I get, and I sit and watch the draft every year, I really am. I'm in awe of, like, wow, I had the privilege to get drafted in the second round. Like, I was top 50 player in the whole draft. I was top 5 in my position. And for that, as I get older, I'm extremely humble.
You should celebrate that.
100%. And for me, I look back and I'm like, wow, I really accomplished that. But being in the moment at the time, you have those competitive edges running. So you're like, okay, you bypass, okay, second round, I want to be a starter. Then I want to be a Pro Bowler. Then I want to have the $50 million contract, right? So you're not really in the moment. But when I look back now and I'm like, wow, I was extremely blessed to be a 22-year-old kid, second round pick. And then when I walked in that building for the first time, there's a lot of eyes on you. Because when you're a first or second round pick, those get held up to a higher standard right away. Mm-hmm. Then like the third round's still there for it. Then it kind of dwindles down a little bit. But right when you're a first, second round pick, they have a lot of expectations for you. They have a lot of, the demand out of you. So it was hard, because you transitioned to, you mastered college, not mastered, but you went like this in college. Then you go in a locker room where everyone's the best of the best.
You get comfortable in college by the time you're like a junior.
You know you're the guy.
Yeah.
Now you're not the guy no more,
mm-hmm.
right? You're in the locker room with every single guy in the locker room was the guy on their team in college, right? So now they take the best player from each team in the whole country, and you're in one locker room. So now it starts all over again. The climbing up the ranks starts all over. Earning your respect starts all over again. Proving to your teammates, proving to your coaches that you're capable and willing of doing what you can do. So it was a tremendous blessing. It really was. Obviously, I had some tremendous years. I had some bad years, and the bad years hold heavy on my heart because you always want to do better. But at the end of the day, I am so humbly grateful for my career, and it was a tremendous experience.
So I've been blessed too, because like I've had people from all walks of life come through core, you know, NFL players, hockey players, baseball players, celebrities, the whole nine yards. And what I get the most out of it is understanding those arenas and those demographics of life and business. Absolutely. And I didn't realize how much of a business the NFL is. Well, dude, first of all, they're W-2'd.
Yeah.
Right. So that puts the handcuffs.
Yeah.
Right.
And get taxed that dollar. We know what you make. Give me that.
Well, it's not only that, they're controlling you because they're paying you. So now you have to do what they say. And it's like, and if you don't, it's going to directly impact the next contract you sign.
1,000%.
Right. Tell the audience something that, like, so I say, I compare this to the NFL, and I have one more good analogy I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but I got to learn the ins and outs of the military. Like, I've learned the different branches. I know the different MOSs. I know like what group does what, where they go on special forces communities. I also got, and I was blown away, sad, because 95% of this country does not understand what the military does.
I don't even understand.
Yeah. But the NFL, give us some meat and potatoes about the NFL. Something that happened where you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that's easy. You know, we used to have a saying, you can go from shit to sugar or sugar to shit in a snap of a finger. And I'll tell you something that changed my whole perspective of NFL. It was my third year in NFL. Tampa Bay had the legend Hall of Famer Derrick Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Stud. I mean, you can't say Tampa Bay organization without Derrick Brooks. Okay. I'm home in off season one day, and I see across the ticker of ESPN that Bucks released Hall of Famer Derrick Brooks. And I'm like, hold on. He's the best player we have. He's been the best player we ever had.
That's how you found out?
I found out on the ticker. And all of a sudden, my phone starts blowing up with my teammates. And I'm like, and then I see Warwick Dunn, Cato June, all starting guys I looked up to in my first 2 years in the NFL.
They cut them all?
They cut them all on the same day.
Wait, what year was that?
This was 2009 when they fired Gruden.
Oh, yeah.
So they fired Gruden. So then 2009 was the worst year. We were the worst team in the league. And that was like my biggest year. That was a really bad year. But the story I'm saying is when I saw Derrick Brooks get cut, I said, wow. I said, this is a ruthless business. And I remember this. That resonated with me. I was drafted again in the second round, high pick. You know what my coach told me? One of my special teams coaches told me? He says, Sabby, the day you're drafted, the next day they're trying to replace you. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean? He goes, exactly what I just told you. The day you're drafted, the day you're trying to replace you. So when you realize that you're literally just a piece of meat, a ticket, and they don't care what you did 2 weeks ago.
You're a prisoner.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't care what you did 2 weeks ago. They want to know what you do today, right? And that, to me, resonated with me where I was like, wow, like this is like I was like, you cut Derrick Brooks? Like, I mean, he's like legend. And for me, I learned that it's for a short amount of time. And don't get too high, don't get too low. Right? Try to stay level Q. And that was one of the biggest things I learned in the NFL because I went through something after. So again, all those guys we just cut, I just told you, I was the young and up and coming stud, they said, right? I had the banner on the stadium, the jersey sales. We were the worst team in the league after that because we had no leaders, right? We had no leadership on the field. We were a whole new coach, a whole new defense, a whole new offense. So we were the worst team in the league.
How frustrating is that to the entire team?
I will tell you this, Sid. I've known you for a long time. And again, I just said how blessed I really was. I will say one of the worst years of my life was in 2009 because the amounts of pressure you have on you when you play in NFL, that you got to understand, this is a business. This is how you make money. This is how you make the owner's money. So when you're losing, it's the worst feeling in the world because when you walk into that building, everybody's asshole is this tight. Everybody's scared for their jobs. Everybody's scared for their family because, they're going to have to get up and leave. So the tension, the the amount of pointing fingers because nobody sticks up for you, right? Because if it's not your fault, if it's not their fault, it's your fault, right? No one wants it their fault because if it's your fault, you're fired, you're cut. So it becomes a very negative environment to be in. It becomes a very backstabbing environment per se. So as good as it was for me to be in the NFL and be a high pick, and 08 was a really good year for me, 09 was the low of low for me because I was the guy they put on the poster. I was the white face, the white safety, the next John Lynch. So for me, when I look back, it was a really, really rough year in my life in 09, for sure.
Well, the other side too is when they legitimately pull the carpet out from under you when you have all these great leaders in place, and now everyone's looking around to like, what's next? What's next, right? And then it's already because I've been in business situations like this, right? Very similar, where like an entire board got fired, and I'm like, okay, so what's next? So then I'm like, fuck it, I'll step up. But then everyone's already so negative, like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yep.
Right? And I'm like, dude, well, do you want to do it, bro? No. Well, someone has to do it, and I'm not scared. Right. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, he's got a big ego. No, I just want us to do good. Yep. Right. And when you already are in a negative place, anything positive, no matter what's negative.
100%.
No matter what is negative. Like, even if you're like, yep, we can fix this. No, we can't. You know? Okay. Then let's just sit here and be losers. You know what I mean? So like that mentality, going back to even that small blurb that I heard you talk about when we were eating on stage, when you spoke, like immediately it was just all such high energy, positive game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thing is that like, who's got time to be negative? Life's like that, dude. It's like that. I'm 47 years old last week. It's like, what happened?
It's absolutely, that was part of I had 3 bullet points. I had sex, sacrifice, choices, and my last one was mindset. And my mindset was that positive attitude of gratitude. We can control our mind, and life has so many variables we can't control. But think about it. Control one of the most powerful things we have, and that's our mind. And like you just said, being in that moment, having the mindset, and being positive, right, is the first step to be successful. You know that.
Well, and if you learn how to be positive, I can promise you one thing, you're going to attract some positive people.
1,000%. Absolutely.
Which is big. So one more piece that I want to talk about. So the last year in the league was what, 2011? 12, right? Yeah. You have an amazing game.
Yeah.
You had an amazing game.
Yeah, you remember this story.
And I actually went back and watched it.
Really? I
watched it with Jax.
Really?
Yeah. Because right after that podcast, and I was like, oh, fuck, dude, that's fucking serious. And
crazy.
It was probably one of your...
I had a really good game. Yeah, I had like 11 tackles, like cold pass breakups. I never thought I was done playing, and went into off season and never got a call again.
So let me ask you a question, because I compare the NFL, a lot of other sports, to guys in the military, right? So most of the guys on the wall back here could have been Fortune 500 CEOs or pro athletes. They choose to go the military route, and the reason is because they're the highest level of operators we have in our country. Like 4 of these guys are like Cody Alford, fastest growing Marine in the history of the United States. He was an E8 at 27 years old.
Looks like a badass.
He's a stud, dude. He's actually in the Punisher with John.
Really?
He's the evil villain. I got on the roll. It was sick. Colton's in it too, and so is in Nick K. Right here. I got Colton in it and Nick K. So I look at that. Then I look at a pro football player. You could have done that, right? They're very similar people. It's the mindset. Right?
Yep.
So I was sitting with Colton the other day, and he's retiring, and he was on this deployment, and he's been on a lot of deployments, 19 years in SF. That's this dude right here, 19 years, right? And he's a mess. And he's like, this is the last deployment, and it's the worst deployment I've ever been on in my entire life. I sat in a barrack. They were calling me to go on mission. Every time we get in a helo, they'd shut it down for 6 months straight. He's away from his family and just sat in barracks. And every time he was going to go, Biden was, nope. And it's like, he's like, dude, what am I doing here? He was basically just moving fucking equipment around for 6 months. And I said to him this, I said, did you know that was going to be your last deployment? This is the difference, but it relates very well. He goes, yeah, I knew it was going to be the last deployment. I was like, no matter what happened, whether it was the last deployment and it was amazing and you were putting in work, or the worst deployment, it was still your last deployment. Still the last one. Now you have to deal with something that people are petrified of, transition.
Yep.
Right? For you, and there's a lot of people that have the same situation, and they don't know it's their last deployment, but they are not liked, or they're not up to par, or they're not in good shape. And guess what? They find out after either a really good deployment or a really bad deployment that it's their last day. No matter what happens, if it was the best game of your life or the worst game of your life, it didn't matter really. It was the last game, and you had to face what? Transition. Let's talk about transition.
It was tough.
How do you face it?
Being disciplined, being consistent. That is how I faced it. I made the choice. I made the conscious decision. I'm huge on choices. I am huge on our everyday choices, because the choices we make today will show up tomorrow. And here's the thing. It's not tomorrow. It's a year, 2 years, or 3 years down the road. And I was at a point in my life, I was young. I was 29, 30. I had cars. I had money. I could have went out and partied every day. Could have went out and got girls. But instead, I woke up every morning and I trained twice a day. I focused on being the best version of myself. And you talk about depression, Sid. I was lost. I had no purpose. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know anything else but football. Everything was like this with football. And all of a sudden, I'm at the bottom.
It's like the worst divorce you could possibly have.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I actually would go on the beach some nights, and I would sit on the beach at night at 10 o'clock at night and just cry. And I didn't know what was going on. But I made the conscious decision. I'm a big believer in this, is I never broke my routine. I told myself I was going to wake up every day and train twice a day, because I thought that phone call was coming, and it never came. But because I made that choice to stay in elite shape, I got an opportunity to go to WWE, because they saw me in a gym. They saw me with my shirt off, and I said, who the hell is that? And that's what I tell people all the time. I think one of the biggest factors from the guy who's successful and not successful is the choice you make when you fail, because we all fail.
Mm-hmm.
We all fail. But what choice are you going to make when you fail? Mm-hmm. And I made a conscious decision to be in the best shape of my life for 2 years, because I thought that phone call was coming, Sid. I used to check my phone 25 times a day. I never thought the phone call was coming. It never came, Sid. But I was in the best shape of my life. And then I go to WWE. Here, check how God works in crazy ways. I get this opportunity to go to WWE. I don't even know really what it is. I guess honestly, but I'm saying I don't know what God's purpose on this one was, because I didn't love it, but it was a great opportunity. It was entertainment. I looked at The Rock. I saw his road, and I was miserable. In Orlando, I was miserable. I had to start from the
remember
bottom.
talking to you. I visited you up there.
Yes, it was hard. But here's what I believe in, and I truly believe in this. God kept telling me, keep going. Don't give up. You'll never give up. And I met my beautiful wife, bro. Changed my life forever.
Uh-huh.
And I tell that story because we got to wake up every day and be disciplined and consistent. Don't worry about the result. Worry about the process of it. Mm-hmm. And I think anybody going through transitions, and they don't know what the future brings, focus on yourself. Focus on being the best version of yourself. Wake up at a certain time. Go to bed at a certain time. Train at a certain time. And
show consistency.
Show consistency and discipline. And I promise you, that hard work will give you a result. It might not always be the result that you're working exactly towards, but it will be a good result.
Could be a better one.
Could be a better one. Mine was meeting my beautiful wife, right? Like WWE was good to me. I had some cool opportunities, but I never got my big run. Mm-hmm. You know, they lied to me for a long time. But what I got was the best thing that ever happened to me. So for that, I am so humbly grateful, right? So the answer to that question, any advice out there,
that's right.
If you think about this, Sid, life is a transition, right? Even you're a very successful businessman. You have a great company, but you're always trying to reinvent yourself. You're always trying to improve your business. You're always trying to make you better. You're always trying to make your wife better. So we're always transitioning, right? So, but I think the focus is really focusing on being disciplined and consistent will get you through all those transitions.
Well, what people don't understand is if they're not constantly reinventing themselves, somebody else is.
1,000%.
Right? Like if I'm not being motivated and I'm not innovating and I'm not having good thought partners around me, somebody else is.
100%.
And now guess what? That person's taking some of my market share and I'm not willing to give that shit up.
It's only busy.
Right?
Coach Gruden used to have a saying before practice, but I apply it to life. Coach Gruden used to say, shout out to Coach Gruden, changed my life forever, tremendous coach, but he used to have a saying before practice. He said, every day in practice, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no such thing as staying the same. And that really resonated with me in life. He said, there's no such thing as staying the same. So every day you're getting better, you're getting worse. And I apply it to life. Every day I try to get 1% better in something. right? And I think that's the truth, man. There is no staying the same. Like you just said, you have a great business, but if you don't continue in your marketing, reaching out, all that stuff, you're just going to fade away, right? So that's a thing in life to me. It applies to life.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, don't stop before the magic happens, because you're going to wish if you had a crystal ball, you're going to wish it in, because just like you said, we have a similar aim, we both get up probably around the same time, do something very similar. We have a routine in the morning. I don't care what it is.
Huge structure.
Yep.
Huge believer.
But the thing is a lot of people will do that for like 2 months and be like, my life's not changing.
Exactly. Because you know what happens is, and I tell people this, don't fall in love with the result, fall in love with the process of it. Because if you fall in love with the result, and you know this, Sid, if you fall in love with the result, you're always going to be disappointed. You know why? Because there is no end result, right? I take the body, for example. You never look in the mirror and say, I'm there, I'm done. Because if I'm done working out, you're going to go backwards, right? So there's never a result of a sense of when I get there, you're going to feel empty. Because I even remember when I said, when I become a starting safety in the NFL, my life's going to be great. Well, no.
That's when the work starts.
That's when the work starts. And even something, as ignorant we all sound when we were kids, I remember the first time I said, when I get $1 million in the bank, right? Life's going to be perfect. Well, no. You get $1 million, then you want 2. Then you want 4.
And you got to realize what $1 million you end up with after $1 million.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the point is, if you fall in love with the end result, you're always going to be disappointed. But if you fall in love with the process of all of it, you'll always every day wake up and challenge yourself, wake up and challenge yourself, wake up and challenge yourself. So that's my biggest advice on that aspect.
And when you change and you do decide you're going to change your dynamic of life, you should not like it in the beginning. It should be miserable almost, or hard, because it's something new to you. Like for me, I wanted to start to read. I never read in my whole life.
I don't read much. I gotta start reading too.
Right? And I hated it for like 3 months, but I did it every day. And then I'm like, oh wait, this is actually fucking kind of cool. And then I'm like that guy. Hey, have you ever read this book before? And people are like,
yeah, walking around.
I've known you for 15 years. You've never read a book.
I've never even seen you read.
Yeah, I've never even seen a book in your hand. You can't even spell book. But yeah. So the meat and potatoes of it all. You've been a patient of Core for about 8 years now?
No, I've been a patient of Core for about 12.
12 years?
12 years.
Let's talk about what your thoughts of hormones were in the beginning, and how we all did back then. Great example. When I started this company, the first 7 years, for me to onboard somebody would take me 2 hours to 5 days, calling them back. Listen, here's all the research. This is what's going to do. This is why. This is why it's going to change your life. Now it's like, I want it, right? That stigma, that black box warning label that was on testosterone made people wonder, like, what is going, like, do I want to do this? It's scary, right? And, I don't give up on my friends' way. I know it's going to truly benefit. You pushed it out, bro, and you waited until you freaking needed that shit. Let's talk about that. What was going on in your head? Because I've never even really asked you.
So that's a great question.
It's probably the trauma you got when you were younger.
I know we spoke earlier in the podcast about the steroid allegations. When I first met you, was right when I was done with NFL before I went to WWE, and we started working together. And I'm forever grateful because first, we're a friendship. You've taken care of me for a long time, and I trust you. And I think it's a very important factor when you get into the hormone game. You got to have someone you trust.
Yep.
Right? If you don't have someone you trust, then it's a scary road, right?
In any aspect of life,
but
especially when you're putting shit in your body,
100%,
which is your temple.
So you have to understand who you're dealing with. You have to understand what you're putting in your body. And for me, you did a really good job of allowing me to understand it. And you were spot on. I tell people this all the time. I neglected TRT from you for a long time because I had this steroid allegation, but I was ignorant because TRT is not steroids. No. Right? Testosterone is not steroids. And I'll be honest with you, Sid. You changed me, and you saved my relationship in some aspect, because I remember when I started TRT through you, I was happier, no depression, your sex drive goes up, your workouts go up, and I realized that it literally is our gasoline for a male, and everything changed for me, and I understood that if you are probably over, I don't know. I know everyone's a little different, but I would say over 35 to 40. If you're still training hard, which you should be, and you're still taking care of your body at the highest level, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not on TRT, because you're not giving yourself the opportunity to reach its full potential. And that's what I tell people. And then another thing I tell people that I think is mind blowing to me, that I don't understand this. They say, oh, well, I don't want to commit through the rest of my life. Buddy, it's 1 or 2 shots a week. Do you brush your teeth every night? Like, I don't understand that concept of it. Like, what do you mean? It takes me 30 seconds to do my shot Monday morning and Thursday morning. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, I'm a huge believer. I think it helps me in every aspect of my life, and it's something I love.
Well, I mean, the other side too, dude, is like, you know, you'll have a normal walk of life. Myself, right? I mean, I push myself pretty hard. I stay on point with my training. I'm in the woods a lot. I try to stay as active as I can. But there's a lot of people out there that that don't have the amount of hits that you took, right? They don't have that high stress environment. 40,000 people booing you. You don't know what that does to your endocrine system?
Absolutely.
Your cortisol?
Absolutely.
Fucks you up, dude.
Yeah.
Even the rushes that you got, the adrenaline dumps over and over again, your body's like, what's going on? Not like a normal person doesn't get this. No. It's something different. So what that does is, like, you know, we're starting to see, especially people that don't have good eating habits and sleeping habits. Dude, when I started in this business, we didn't treat anyone under the age of 30. I'm seeing guys 22 years old, never done a steroid, never did a drug in their life. Their testosterone's 250.
What?
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And on top of that, like, when you really need it, like, if I come to you and I see your blood work and I talk to you and I'm like, you really need it, trust me, you fucking need it, dude. Because the last thing we want to do is put you on if you don't need it. We try Kickstarter programs. We try the whole 9 yards. Going back to what you were saying about, like, 35, 40 years old, and me talking about how it would take me 2 hours to like, you know, what's beautiful is now you understand it. So now your kids will understand it, right? It's not going to be a stigma to them because, hey, daddy does it, and daddy's 60 and he looks like he's 40, right? And on top of that, what we did at Core this past year is every patient that has a kid that turns 18 gets free blood work. And the reason why we did that is because they get to, number one, see what extensive blood work looks like. So when they go to their GP and it's one page, they can be like, what's going on here? This isn't extensive enough, right? We even checked their PSA at 18 years old. And on top of that, we tell them to put that with their birth certificate. We tell them when they turn 25, 30 and they start to feel changes, get their blood work done again with us and compare the two. And it's going to show you if you need testosterone or not. Right? Don't listen to me.
Yep.
Look at the facts. Right? So as time's gone on in this business, like, I knew 18 years ago that this was going to be the shit. I mean,
look at it now.
The balance of the country had to get on the same page as me, you know? So talk to me about some of your favorite go-tos, other than, you know, the basic TRT. And also, you also know how important it is to manage your TRT properly. Just like everything else in your life, it has to be regimented. It has to be with your estrogen blockers and your supporting meds. Like, make sure you guys are following that. Like, that's very important. It's not just take a shot of test and call it a day.
No, 1,000%. And like I said, I get my blood with you 3 times a year anyways. Check all my stuff, be routine about it. For me, that you know, I think now what the world is going to, and it's kind of funny, social media has kind of blew up peptides in the last couple of years, like the hot thing. But like you and I both know, peptides have been around for a very long time.
Long time. And
the problem is now the social media audience is seeing it for the first time, like, oh, what is this? And that's one of my biggest points I would give is, you know, be careful, because these people aren't educating themselves. Find someone like yourself, find a institution from a pharmacy, find people that are going to actually do it correctly. Run your blood, check your IGF levels, check your test levels, check your free test levels, because those are the hormone balances you need. And I don't think in this day and age where we evolve to, we have so much access to improve our body in so much aspects. We only get one. Why wouldn't you maximize that every day of your life? And for me, that's why I love our relationship, because I can call you, I say, I get my blood next week. Come in, boom, good blood. I'll get it back in a week. We'll look at it. We'll look at, hey, man, change this a little bit. Fine, we're good. 6 months, 3 months, 4 months later, I do it again. And for me, find somebody that you trust in that aspect. And then, like you said, follow your regimen. Don't, you know, you got to do, if you do your TRT shot, you know, twice a week, you break it up, half and half, do it twice a week. Don't do it once and then twice and then skip. So for me, finding my balance too, Sid, I don't know how you are with this. listen to your own body. I knew if I was doing a little too much or a little too less. I found my sweet spot. And I think everybody's sweet spot can be a little different.
1,000%. We have people on 0.75, 0.72.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
100%.
It's
like I actually, sometimes I'll go like, you know, 0.3 or 0.3 twice a week, which would be 0.6. Well, you know, I'll feel my body sometimes and adjust a little bit because either I need a little bit more or, you know, I can feel myself. You got to be very in tune with that. And I think that's the beautiful part of dealing with somebody like you guys. You guys are very hands-on with that. And even when I get to the peptide game, you know, I remember, you know, I took my first peptide about 11 years ago, dude. I was skeptical.
What was the first? What did you do? Somorelin?
I did Somorelin, and I'll never forget. It was Somorelin and GRHP.
GHRP2.
GHRP2, but it was mixed with something. Maybe GHRP6. Yes.
Yeah, it was a mixture.
That was my first one. And it's funny, I went from like 227 to like 235, like that. And because I never took, you know, it's funny, I never taken anything.
We love those virgin bodies.
Yeah. And you even told me that.
Yeah.
You were like, watch, you're going to just, and you were right. And for me, I was on it for a while and then I cycled off for a while. And I think as I gone through my journey, I've kind of understood my body and what I like and what I don't like. And, you know, I was a big fan of MK677. Somorelin's always great for me. You know, I want to try Tessamorelin. I've not tried Tessamorelin. I know it's kind of the thing that's getting hot right now on social media, but educate yourself is my biggest advice. And understand and listen to your body.
So on the peptide side of things, you know, there's so many. I legitimately spend at least an hour a day researching all the new peptides coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of work, dude. It's like, and the problem is this too. I was telling Jax last night, I was like, babe, this is the problem. They abbreviate all of these peptides. So people ask me what the abbreviation stands for. And all I know is the abbreviation, but there's 64 peptides right now. What am I going to go back and relearn the full freaking name? It's like, dude, it's crazy, dude. And so for me, don't just look at the clinic that you're buying from. Look at the downline of where the medication's coming from. Super important, right? You can have a clinic that looks beautiful, but at the end of the day, they're cutting corners and buying research drugs and selling them to you. And there could be metals in them. It could be tren inside the research drug. We just found tren inside from a peptide company. Yeah. I mean, it's the cheapest compound in the world and it gives you the biggest results. I mean, it makes you want to freaking, you know, murder people, but like it works. So guess what? People get results. They go back.
They go back. Absolutely.
It's the craziest thing in the world. Do you know what I heard the other day? We have this fentanyl, big fentanyl problem. Heroin, right? Drug addicts, right? Drug addicts, which I would associate that with very bad decision-making skills, being a drug addict, right? We've all seen what it does to people, right? Yep. So a bad decision in this business would be going to a black marketplace and getting peptides because you don't know what's in it.
You have no idea.
So drug addicts wait to hear on the street who has an OD, and then they want to go buy from that dealer because it's a strong dose of fentanyl. That's how that's real life. So think about this. You have a guy that buys peptides from this company. He knows a bunch of guys in the gym. He gets massive results. They put tren in him. He's going to look just like a Greek god. Guess what? They just picked up market share, but they're killing people. And the guy has no idea what he's putting in his body. So like, that's how screwed up this industry is. I mean, I have a bunch of documentation and some stuff coming out I'm putting together that I'm going to send to the masses. And it's basically the deep, dark secrets of hormone replacement therapy over the last 18 years. 2 decades I've been in this business.
Wow. When did you start this business?
2009.
Good for you.
You know, and it's gone by quick and I've learned so much. I've met so many amazing people and man, it kills me that someone wants to save $40 a vial. So
that's the sad part. Listen, guys, if any advice I can give you guys, take it from me, pay an extra $1, get it from a professional because like you just said, you don't know what you're putting in your body and that's scary. That is a scary thing. And for me, we talked about earlier, I'm grateful that we have a relationship. We have a friend relationship before we have a business relationship. And I think that's tremendous, man. I've been with you guys for 12 years now. And I refer a lot of people, all my friends that ask me, I just send them right to you because I trust you. And that's an important process of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So what's next for you before we kind of wrap this up? What do you got going on?
You know, what's next? My wife and I, honestly, we do a lot of investing. I'm learning the entrepreneur space. I'm learning the pre-IPO space, the private equity space. I got a little bit of a lifestyle reset coaching company that I'm kind of just started about 6 months ago, getting off the ground a little more and more. That's more of my passion, like we talked about earlier. And I want to get on stage more, public speaking. I've been doing some engagements. I love the motivational aspect of it. And hopefully I can, help men, help women be the best version of themselves. So, I think I said it's starting a family is on my heart. I really want to do that with my wife. So, what's next, Sid? I've learned one thing, Sid, in 20 years of chasing. I chased from 18 to 38. I was focused. I was laser focused. I went to college, NFL, WWE. And I got to a point where I said, I want to live more day by day, be in the moment more, be in the present moment, be grateful for everything, but be motivated to be better, but be grateful. And I think I've actually accepted that, yes, I might not know what the future brings, but I'm going to get up every day and be the best version of myself, and opportunities will present themselves.
No matter what, if you're doing the right thing, good things will happen.
And that's exactly what I'm a big believer. So what's next is just getting up every single day, being the best version of myself, meeting people like you, getting into business with people like you, and just growing who I am, telling my story, and being the best husband I could be, and hopefully one day be the best father I can be.
Well, that's amazing, bro. Thank you so much for coming. Before we finish, though, the blades. Graham, I do this every time. It sponsors this podcast, and they're badass. This is the knife that I carry, and they're freaking sick. They're actually shavers, and they got the Core Medical logo on the side. So sick. Luke, thanks so much, bro. You got we got one of your blades in a pro athlete's hand now.
Hell yeah!
And they're pretty badass. So we get to give those away to everyone that comes on.
That's sick.
And I want to thank you again for all your friendship and guidance and mentorship. And man, it's great to see you just grow so much and excel so much, dude. So thanks.
And honestly, man, to see you grow this place in the last 10 years, unbelievable.
Thanks, dude.
Congrats on everything. And awesome. Good to see you, brother.